It's been about 3 months since we had Violet, and I wanted to do a little kind of like postpartum update checkup. So with my first baby, I just didn't know a lot of what happened after you have a baby, or at least what could happen. And everything that happened was just kind of like, what the H, and am I going crazy? And then with James, I was like, maybe all of that was a fluke. What the H, am I going crazy? And now with Violet, I kind of have like the sage wisdom of having done this twice, and kind of like knowing what my mind does and how my body reacts and just everything. So I will tell you what's going on with me. And if you are a person out there with anything going on, you can just know that you're not the one crazy person on the planet. With George, I had anxiety, and with James, I had anxiety, and with Violet, I have had anxiety, and they have been different every time. But it just kind of feels like my mind gets triggered by something, or like latches on to one little idea in my head or fear in my head that normal Ashley can just be like, oh, that's just a little idea in my head. But postpartum Ashley, without my consent, kind of like takes that idea and then like drives all the way down the crazy highway to a place where it overtakes my thoughts and just like freaks me out and kind of controls my emotions in a very negative way for like 3 months to a year. We don't know. It's the great thing about postpartum. You just don't know. With George, it was definitely like, do not touch my baby, anyone, except for like my mom and my aunt and my sister. And if anyone touched my baby, I was like hyperventilating and in a panic. It was bad. And it was just so hard for our marriage and for me, because everyone who you know and you're related to wants to touch my baby, which is normal and fine if you're normal and fine, but I was not normal and fine. With James, it was kind of like more body centric, where I just like, the thought that went too far was like, I am ugly and like undesirable. And again, that was very hard for marriage, and that was very hard for me, and it took like 1.5 years for me to get over that. And now I'm like so much better and so much healthier. Maybe it's just like that anxiety that happens is kind of like draws on a small fear or anxiety that you have already. I'm 30 now, and I think like a small idea that I've had in my head is kind of like midlife crisis-y, like, holy cow, I'm aging. Like I'm like kind of on the top of the hill. I'm not like youthful and 20, and I finally hit this age where I never imagined me hitting. Like I remember my mom being 30 and being like, that's old. That's so old. And now that's me. And I think I've had like small thoughts of like my impending mortality and time passing. And with Violet, this like terrible anxiety journey has been like me having like intense fears that I cannot get through, that time is ticking and like life is fragile, and I'm just like this sack of bones and gross body parts for unknown reasons that's alive, and I'm gonna die, and then I'll disappear and my kids will disappear. Like normally I can handle this, and that's been what's gotten me through. I can say to myself now after 3 kids, like, Ashley, you are normally able to handle these thoughts, and normally you are happy. And that's just kind of where I am right now, and I'm just kind of like taking each day and trying not to have panic attacks about my death or my kid's death. And I say it and I'm like, you're so crazy. But when you're just in your head, it's just like your reality, and you can't convince yourself it's not real. And that's where I am. And it's not fun. And I wish having a baby could just be this wonderful, joyful experience that I just like, they put a baby in my arms and I like walk away with rainbows and sunshine, but I don't. I walk away with like a storm cloud and doom. And it takes me like 1 year to get through it, and then I'm a normal girl again. But right now at 3 months, I am just on this train of crazy anxiety, but I'm doing better this time because I'm able to remember that like I've gone through it before and I'm normally normal. But if you know, if you're someone out there who is like, I think I'm the only one who's crazy. You're not. I'm crazy too. We're all just crazy in our own way. And like so much of the time I'm so happy. And it's just like these quiet moments, especially in the evening, where my mind can go and I'm not busy, that I just have panic attacks and fall apart. Luckily I have Dallin, and also myself. I feel like I've gotten a lot stronger, but that's where I am. And it's just like these quiet moments, especially in the evening, where my mind can go and I'm not busy, that I just have panic attacks and fall apart. Luckily I have Dallin, and also myself. I feel like I've gotten a lot stronger. Anyways, that's my update. That's where I am.
We are on location of our house, and we are seeing for the first time the paint. You guys do not touch the walls.
We were afraid it would be too It looks really white.
Oh, that looks so good. I love it.
One of the more stressful things of my life is picking out a shade of white.
Well, I think out of all of the 5,000 different shades of white, I picked the right one.
You did.
It's Swiss coffee, by the way, 50% lighter.
There's much to know about picking paints. For example, I gave this all to Dallin. I give all of the decisions to Dallin.
Ashley's decision-making process, step 1.
Dallin's gonna decide.
We got it from Studio McGee. They are very stylish folks. We basically modeled every single color in our house after their house.
All major decisions were Studio McGee. Christmas tree right there.
Christmas tree. Our builder gave us some exciting news. He said the thing that was going to take the longest for it to get done by the end of November was the cabinets. But I guess the cabinet guy called him and said he had a cancellation. So instead of 5 weeks out, he said our cabinets will be done in 2 weeks. Let's go see the master, shall we? Looks so good. Oh, I love these windows up there. Awesome.
It's just weird to think we're gonna live here.
Forever.
I still feel like we belong in the greenhouse.
Yeah, like we're on an extended vacation.
Yeah, like, and we just can't go home because someone else lives there now.
Here's the upstairs room. Look, they installed the holes for the TV cords to go down to the outlet. So I don't have to drill makeshift holes in our walls anymore.
And best part, it's not gonna flood up here.
Oh gosh, that flood in our old house was so dumb. Here's Violet's room. You have a room.
It's a good room.
I am so happy that all 3 kids are upstairs. It looks like they have not done the ceiling yet. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a very, very small difference between the white primer and the Swiss coffee paint. Message me for any other shades of white questions that you may have. What do you got going on out here, sweetie?
I want to stack these, Daddy.
Okay.
But Daddy, can you help me?
Sure.
I want to do the little pieces. Why does the fireplace look like that?
It's not done yet.
I want to see what my room looks like.
It's right up there. Construction zones are a kid's favorite place to play.
Cleaning day is my favorite day.
Introducing for the first time today, our marshmallow baby. Ho, 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 ho. Ready to go to outer space?
We are at the Desert Hills Garden Scarecrow Walk. We're doing all the Halloween things because there's only a million to do. Introducing for the first time ever with their very own walking sticks, George and James with their new sticks. Ah!
Okay. See how long these last.
Total Scrooge about these.
I hate the sticks. I hate them. The kids are already whacking me enough as is, and now they're just swinging sticks. Are you warm in that, sweetie? This is the daddy wizard sleep. What is this thing called?
Baby Merlin's Magic.
Baby Merlin's Magic sleep suit. If I had one of these things to sleep in, I would sleep for days.
3, 2, 1.
Good one. Good smiling. Peekaboo. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Oh gosh.
We've got Violet on my lap, the whole city in front of me, and Dallin's right there. I'm pretty overly nostalgic about everything in my life right now because of this one. But it's just so cool and fun, and we're just so hopeful that this is kind of like our home forever. We want this to just be our home and have roots here and let our kids grow up here. And it's like cool to think of Dallin and I, and also it makes me want to cry a little bit. Emotions. Like in 20 years, Dallin and I could be sitting here like on the day before George gets married or the day James graduates from college, and we can just, this can be like a special spot for us. Get really nostalgic and, you know, have like future stories in my head all the time. But we've just never, I have never lived in a place since I've gotten married where I've wanted to have a future. I've always kind of been a person who's, wherever we've been so far, it has not been my favorite. And this place, I just feel it's so cool that we got to move to one of my favorite places in the world.
All right, you guys, we've made it to the top. Now hit your sticks on the ground and say, I hereby claim this city.
I claim this city. I claim this city. I claim this city.
On this day in October.
On this day of October 30th. 31/6.
Okay.
On October 31/6.
It's October 18th, but that works on the 4th of July.
4th of July. 4th of July.
Family City.
Family 2.
What?
Okay, I say Family City.
Well, we went from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. Do you want to show them?
I don't. I'm
glad
too
we didn't
embarrassed.
burn our house down.
If you're our landlord watching, please don't watch this next part.
Your
It was a
neighbors.
long day. Anyways, we have a new recipe coming to the Dashleys kitchen. It's called my set it and forget it barbecue chicken. You just set the Traeger at 500 degrees, put the chicken on for 4 hours or until the internal temperature reaches 473 degrees. And then at that point, it should be done. You take it off and you gnaw on it for 2 to 3 hours until you're able to swallow it. And you should be full by the time you get one bite down. Surefire way to lose weight and possibly catch your house on fire. So that's the plan. Follow me for more recipe tips. Dinner served.